guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna be reacting to a video called Swedish versus American homes, what is different? So I'm guessing like the main difference is gonna be that Swedish homes are not built out of cardboard, and I'm joking, but maybe not. I know obviously American houses are very flimsy, and I would think like, you know, houses all over the world are not really made out of that. I think they're made out of like wood and, you know, actually concrete and proper materials. But as in like the layout, I would think like, I don't know, I think maybe Swedish homes are like smaller, maybe, I don't know, but I'm very curious. I've never actually wondered that myself. So let's check it out and comment, like and subscribe.
Oh hey guys, it's Andrew coming at you. And in this one, after living in Sweden for 6 years, I thought it would be fun to talk about the differences between homes in America versus Sweden. That's coming up, but I feel like we need something cool, some kind of cool thing with slow-mo. We'll get it.
Okay, yeah, it looks cool.
So one of the first things, the differences is depending on where you are in the United States. But where I was in Pennsylvania, we didn't always take off our shoes, but in a Swedish home, you're always going to take off your shoes and usually have a spot in a location where we can take off our shoes. I
think that's a very European thing. I don't think it's like just Sweden, I think, does this. I think a lot of European places do it. Because I think there's, and I don't know why actually, but I think it's got to do with like the snow, and because they usually, I know that the United States doesn't have places that obviously they get snow, but I think it's related to like, you don't want to dirty up the whole house, because obviously if you're like all the grime and dirt from like you're from the street, and again, if you're like stepping on, you know, mud puddles and, you know, snow and just disgusting things, you're not gonna, you know, dirty up your floor. So I think that's why in Europe they do that. But I don't know, I think it's a very European thing. And I don't know like how many American homes actually do that actually.
It was a little muddy the last couple of days, but I'm gonna put this over here. Won't you be my Swedish neighbor?
I think Canada also does that actually.
So getting that out of the way, I want to talk about two other things that are going to be different in the homes in Europe and Sweden as opposed to the United States. The next one is the light switches here. If you look at the switches here, the way the light switches work in Sweden is a bit different. Our light switches are a little bit smaller and go up and down like this. So I'll go ahead and link a picture there so you guys can see that. The next difference has to do with the electrical system that we use here. We use the EU plug cable, and in the United States you're going to have to use this prong one as well. And in some homes, funny enough, there's a 3-prong one in older homes in the United States that you need to use. I want to show you something else really cool that we have here. This is an oven that I'm sure the technology exists in the United States, but if you throw stuff on it when it's off, it'll start beeping. But if you check this out, if I just put this on and like turn it on instantly, it's an induction oven, which is really cool. You'll see here the water will like instantly start to boil up and it starts to heat up. But the parts here don't get hot, and it's kind of like a smart oven as well. If you leave stuff on it, it beeps. If
I've seen those before.
Cleaning it beeps, and it won't let you have stuff on it when it's off. And what's nice too is it doesn't get hot here. So if you get the camera closer, you can see that the water is actually already starting to heat up. It's the most insane thing I've ever had.
The induction ones are the best.
Another thing, guys, that I want to talk about here is the windows in Sweden and how they're different to the United States. A lot of times our windows, and there are older windows in Sweden that open a little bit differently, but the windows we have in the United States a lot of times are like 2 windows here, and you can kind of just slide it up and open it, and we almost always have a screen. But in every Swedish home I've been to here, and I've heard there are screens, but they typically open out like this. And then you can hit the buttons here and you can actually open the whole window out, because in the summer, a lot of homes don't have air conditioning like we have in the United States. But the one thing that annoys me about that with Swedish homes, no offense to everybody, is just simply that the bugs and things can get in. So I'm not a big fan of that. But I can show you one other thing with that is with decks as well. In other homes,
they're just there.
It's the same. Like a deck door, like this one we have here, you'll be able to just go ahead and open the whole entire door here and let the air in, which is really nice in the springtime. It's very cozy.
Yeah.
Just the difference, like I said, is the American homes, we would have like a screen here, which would be really nice.
I think
Guys, by the way, our video today is sponsored by Lurkit.com, your #1 spot for esports and multi-streams. The link is in the description below. Please go and support them. Another thing I want to talk about quickly is door handles and how the door handles work here. In the US, a lot of times we have knobs, but as you can see here,
but it depends as well on the
door handles
house.
are different. It's all little small differences. And to the TV tax people, this is a very big computer monitor. Thank you.
Oh my God,
One thing I want to
really?
mention that we don't have here is staircases. A lot of times in the United States,
Hold on, I don't think I even knew that they made like computer monitors that were that big.
staircases just go straight up. Again, I'll put a picture in. And in Swedish homes, I noticed a lot of more modern Swedish homes having more of a spiral staircase, which kind of utilizes more
Really?
space. This
I
is
think
the
that's
room
more,
that has
like,
the biggest
fancy.
differences in it. And this is our bathroom, and I'm just going to show you a couple of unique things we have here. The first thing I want you to
Is
look
that
at is the
dryer?
toilet. And although our toilet only has one flusher here, many toilets in the United States are going to have the flusher on the left or the right here.
Yeah,
Our home only has
but it
one
depends
flusher.
on the
But most
toilet.
modern homes, this is a little bit older home. Most modern homes have two flushers.
Yeah.
One is for the pee and one is for the poo, and it's supposed to help with the overall flushing. As an American, it was kind of tough to get used to because let me tell you, when I pee, I still want to get that flush all the way out there. I don't want to keep that still there, but it's a nice little extra thing. Now, let me go ahead and show you our shower because this is also a unique thing. Now, most shower places in Sweden utilize this space. As you can see, this bathroom is utilized. It's also a laundry room, and this is really cool here because this is a washer machine / a dryer machine, but most Swedes, including myself, we typically don't use the dryer so much in the summertime. We actually hang our clothes out, which is a difference from the United States because we typically have a Swedish. We typically have a washer and dryer, and we actually have a room for that. So it's really cool to utilize the space here. But like,
I don't really know. I don't think I've ever seen. Maybe I have actually, and can't remember. But I think that's a little. Isn't that like that's worrisome to me because it's just next to the shower and it's an electrical device and wouldn't you get electrocuted? I don't know. I'd be concerned about getting electrocuted. Obviously, it's safe. Like they do it all the time. But what's up with that? I think it's in that dangerous and actually like the device, not just for you, but also like the device itself. What if you get water on it? Like, well, you know, obviously it's a washer, so you know, washers obviously get water, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that's a little bit like, isn't that that's a little worrisome to me? But I don't know. Apparently it's normal.
Like I said, a lot of shower areas, the bathroom utilizes the space because you have. I'll show you here how this closes. This kind of folds in on itself here.
Okay.
So we can fold this part in. A lot of times in American homes, I've never really seen this in any home, but maybe a few. But most of our showers are completely attached to the wall here.
Depends.
You can't move them.
No, yeah.
But in the Swedish homes, you can do this, which is really cool because you want to go like this. You can reach all those areas with the pressure. It's just one of those things that we don't have in the United States as common that I just find to be interesting.
I think it depends actually on the house.
Hey guys, remember these? Come in. This is my recording studio. This is where all the magic, the YouTube magic that you see happens here. But one thing I want to talk about, is the lights here and how they work. I'll show you.
Okay,
and maybe this happens in the States, but I don't think so much. But you can see that like you can actually just like pull this off the wall here and unplug it. And you can take the whole thing down. I'm not going to do that now because I won't be able to put it back up. As you can see here, I'm not the tallest guy. But I never noticed this in the United States. If I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I just think that's different. Hey guys, welcome to my bedroom. I just want to show
concerning.
you one final thing, and that has to do with the
If you're renting.
the way that the final bed sheet or the big bed sheet is. In the United States, what's different about this is that it's just one sheet by itself. And these Swedish sheets, a lot of times you can see here, there's like a sheet, actually an inner sheet inside here. You don't wash this part, you wash the outside part. Our sheets is like one big sheet. The final sheet, I guess, and we wash it, like but not all the time, not as often as you wash everything else in your clothes. And I want to talk about this final thing. This,
I think that's interesting because I think a lot of the, like, I think also it depends. You can just get one of these things, but I think they usually do it with like weighted blankets. I think you put that like the top part, like you put it there, I think.
The wall here, the parts in the American homes, we usually have like a little bit cheaper drywall. Some places you can just like punch right in. But this is concrete. It depends on the place you're in, but a lot of these places are a lot more sturdy here, and you're able to not punch through them so easily. Not that I'm punching so much.
Not that you're punching walls constantly.
So thank you for checking out this video. I'm about to take a nap because, you know, I'm 31. I'm a bit of an old man right now. And I just wanted to, I'm sure I missed some stuff here, but I was excited to do this video. I've been wanting to do it for a long, long time. So put in the comments below the things that I missed. And again, if you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you subscribe. I talk about things in Sweden. Please visit the sponsor we have in the list below. And I'm going to see a nap, guys, so hello.
Okay, yeah, this was I don't know. I think a lot of the things I think are very particular to like one's experiences in and homes in general. Because a lot of the things that I think he mentioned as like something being like, oh, it's like a very specific thing like like in Sweden. I think it just depends actually. I think a lot of those places are it depends on like older homes. I think probably have them. But for instance, like the knobs are something that you can replace those, and I think those are like one of those things. I was gonna say also the shower head. I think those just depend on like your own preference, and you can actually like change them if you don't like them. You can just change them. Like a lot of people do change like the knobs because they're I don't know they're not necessarily they're old, or maybe you're like feeling it like no, I'm not feeling those anymore, and I can switch them. And sometimes they have the handle, and sometimes they have the little knob, but it just depends. I think older homes probably, I'm trying to think, like I think older homes probably are more likely to have the knob, and probably more modern houses have the handle. Although like I think like depends on how modern, because I think these days are also very common the ones that are just like the electric, that you don't really have the thing and just like the thing opens. I know I've seen those, but I think maybe I'm thinking of like the front door, like you don't even have like a handle or anything. I've seen those that just like just sort of like the whole thing opens, but I don't know. Those are maybe like the outliers. The whole like the handle thing. I think especially the one that he showed us. I don't know how old like this house is, but I think I've seen those in some American houses. But I think it's more likely they're more likely to have those. I think it's a very specific type of house that has this. I think it's like a suburban home from like the I want to say 90s or the 2000s in America. They sometimes have those. I think they're more likely to have them because I think maybe they were popular at the time. I don't really know, but I think I've seen them, and it's sort of like it's the same thing. It's like the golden handle, and they have the little, it's very ornate, and they have like a lot of things. So that one's funny to me, and I think it just depends. The shower head, he mentioned that he had never seen that. I am surprised actually, because I'm like, you've never seen like a detachable shower head. Again, it just depends. I think probably older. It's the thing about older homes. I think older homes obviously are gonna have like a shower head that's just it's just there. But obviously modern houses, again, especially like in this day and age, like people get them replaced because they're not even, it's just like people get them replaced as in like I'm owning, like this is my house that I own and I'm replacing it. And I think then how newer houses being built, they also, I think they have them. And again, if you're maybe, I don't know, if you're renting, you can do that actually. I think you can actually. You can just like you can change it yourself. Like you don't need it. It's not, I don't think it's a huge thing. Maybe I'm totally off actually. I don't know how complicated it is to actually change that. But I think, you can get it replaced because it's a detachable shower head. And like he said, those are probably like, those are better. Well, they're more comfortable. They're not better or worse. They're just a little bit more comfortable sometimes. Because like he said, like you can just like you can switch it, you can just like grab it. And I think especially like you have longer hair, I think those are like pretty easy, especially if they are very useful. And I've seen them a lot if you have, not in this case because obviously it's just a shower, but if you have a bathtub, I think it's very, again, if you have like a lot of people do actually wash their hair in a bathtub and with a detachable shower head, because it's easier if you don't want to, I don't know, for like reasons, I don't know, you don't want to get in the shower or whatever. So I've seen those, especially again with like bathtubs. But again, it just depends. I think maybe more modern houses have them, or just people wanting to like get with the times and just replacing them. Maybe like your house. No, my house is older, but I'm trying to modernize some things, as much as I'm able. The thing that actually, again, the Windows one, I think it's funny that he mentioned like the screen door. It's like, what, come to think about it, I think it's a very American thing. Not that other places don't have them, but I want to say, I think the United States is one of those places that I think has them, like by like almost everything has a screen door. I'm trying to think of like other places that have them, and yes, there are some that have them, but I don't think I've ever seen them in Europe actually. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't think they're that common over there. I don't really know why. I would love to know, like, why. I've never actually questioned that myself. Like, why do they have screen doors? Like, he mentioned, I think it's kind of like an annoying thing because the bugs get in, especially like if you open the whole window and if you open the whole door. But it's like, it goes with the fact that, yes, if you don't have any air conditioning, you need the air to circulate. And again, in the summer and the spring, it's nice to get like some air in, because if you don't have air conditioning, you're not going to boil yourself. So it is a good idea to open the windows. And just in general, like, air is nice. He was like, oh, the bugs get in. Yes, the bugs are constantly getting in, but we have to we have to cohabitate with the bugs. Bugs are important. They can be annoying, but they are important for a healthy ecosystem. So, it's just a part of nature, and we have to get used to it. So I think it's funny that he was like, I don't really like that. I think it's a very, I don't know. Well, no, I was going to say it's an American thing, but no, I don't think it is. But I think it's just because you have them, because you have screen doors, and, in the windows as well. And I think it's a bug thing. Maybe you don't want to get any mosquitoes in, especially I think in the south. It's in the south of the southern United States. I'm thinking of like the typical sort of like southern house, and they always have the screen doors. But I think it's just because yes, the bugs are constant. Like in the summertime, like everything's getting in, and of course the mosquitoes. I think I'm probably one of the most annoying bugs that I can think of. And obviously you want the air to circulate, because again, it's like it's so hot. But obviously the mosquitoes get in. I don't know how common do Swedish people have mosquitoes. Actually, I would love to know, because I'm thinking also like mosquitoes, and again, it's like this is my very specific example, are very common, I think, when it's hot outside. Not that their mosquitoes are constant all the time, especially in I think very humid places. But especially during the summer, like there's a lot of them. And I'm thinking, because in Sweden, I don't know how hot the summers actually can get. I'm guessing not that hot, because even if they are, wow, it's really hot compared to like their baseline and the average, but I don't really know how many. Maybe they think, I don't know, 18 degrees is 18 like Celsius, maybe that's a summer for them, right? And it's obviously for other places it's just like a normal temperature, like that's not hot at all. But maybe for Sweden, that is obviously going to be very hot, and maybe like that's when the mosquitoes get in, or maybe they don't really have mosquitoes at all, because again, it's just the climate. It's not like you don't get mosquitoes. I would love to actually ask one person that has lived in Sweden, or a Swedish person, like, do you get mosquitoes sometimes? Or it's a weird concept of like I see them like once a year. There aren't any mosquitoes here. But the whole I took a giant side tour. But yeah, the bathroom, again, you already mentioned it, like the washer dryer. Yeah, he mentioned obviously, like, I think it's a very European thing as well, to like you dry your clothes. Like there almost no one has a dryer, because I think obviously the electrical bill can get pretty high. And I think people culturally are less used to like using a dryer. They are used to like drying their own clothes in like the little thingies, and they just hang their clothes. But in the United States, I think it's the opposite. Like, no, you don't ever get to see that. Everyone has a dryer. Like, no one's gonna like put out their clothes to dry. That would be very weird, because everyone owns a dryer. And I think the whole concept of like leaving your clothes to dry, that's weird for the American mind, would be like pretty weird out by that. I think maybe not all of them, but I would venture to say like probably over 50% of people are going to be like, well, that's extremely weird. But the fact that they obviously have them in the bathroom, again, I don't know how common it is. I don't know how dangerous that is, but that would definitely trip me out, and I would be a little scared of actually using the shower and also using the washer, because I'll be like, I'm gonna get electrocuted. I don't know. It's gonna be, again, maybe it's just like it's in my brain, it's in my head. Like, it's not a real thing. It's not a real danger. But again, maybe that would be something to overcome. And especially to put it, actually, I think it's just the electrical situation, the lights thing. I've never seen that in my life. I've never seen it in Europe. I've never seen it in the United States. I've never seen it anywhere. That you can just like take out the thing. I think you need, like, I don't know, maybe it's because I don't really know anything about electricity. Maybe that's why I'm so scared of like the washer being in the bathroom. But I'd be concerned, like, isn't that dangerous? Like, you can just take out the electrical thingy and do stuff with it. I don't really know. I'd be scared to like damage it, or again, getting electrocuted myself. I don't really know why they would do that. Maybe it's because it's like easier to switch. I was gonna say not the light bulb, because you can just like switch out like the light bulb. You don't need to like get into the thing. You need to change, like, oh, I want to change the lamp, but I don't really know how you would go around changing this lamp or any lamp in general. But obviously I think that those are stuff that you can actually, those are easy repairs, right? So it can't be that hard doing that in other houses, but I think you need more stuff. Like you need like a screwdriver, maybe. I don't know. Again, very confused about that whole situation. But I don't think it should be that hard to actually do that in other places. But also, just the same, I don't think it should be that easy to actually switch around and take out the lamp, because it's like I have all those wires hanging on my roof, and I don't know how like dangerous or normal that is. I don't think people can go around playing with this. But maybe that's the thing. They're trusting on you to not to be, you're not a child, you're an adult. Please don't play around with the lamp because it's easy to take out. So maybe it's more about like every individual person. But yeah, this was very interesting. I loved seeing like the different like little things, because now I have a lot of questions now for Swedish people. So I have to find a Swede and actually ask them, especially about the mosquitoes. But that was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.